Thanks for joining me, your sport pilot James Glory, on another exciting episode of Sport Vibe on DNT Work, where we bring you exciting and latest sport happenings across the world of sport, as is our tradition to do so every Tuesday. I would implore you to please stay tuned, because we'll be right back shortly after this break. Welcome back. It's a beautiful Tuesday and a congratulations for sport lovers across the world, as we also witness incredible football over the weekend in the world of sports. You know that it was an interesting one in the Premier League, seeing Liverpool and Chelsea Football Club unable to get a win in the Premier League. But starting from the Manchester side of the Premier League, we talk about Manchester United, who could only share spoil with Bournemouth over the weekend. They were able to end that match 2 goals apiece, and if you remember that the first encounter between Bournemouth and Manchester United only ended 4 goals, and this means that they have been able to equal 12 goals in their last meeting in the Premier League. Manchester United are yet to defeat Bournemouth in their last 5 meetings in the world of football. A sad one for Manchester United, who were hoping to cement their place and probably narrowing the gap between themselves and Manchester City at the top of the Premier League table. They could only walk away with a draw, and this time around they are still sitting in the 3rd position in the Premier League. Aston Villa also were able to get a crucial win against West Ham to make sure they cement their top spot in the world of football. You cannot say the same thing for Liverpool and Chelsea Football Club over the weekend in the Premier League, where we saw Everton defeating Chelsea Football Club 3-0. The two teams are synonymous to blues, but one blue was able to surpass the other over the weekend, putting 3 goals past Chelsea Football Club and inflicting another damage on the blue side of London, making it possible for them to go 4 games without a win for the first time in over a score in the record of the Chelsea Football Club. What do Chelsea needs to do right? Remember that they were humiliated by Paris Saint-Germain in a game in the Champions League that ended 8-2 in the 2 legs of the UEFA Champions League. Going back to the Premier League, everyone would have thought they would be bouncing back against Everton, but Everton were able to show character and show the determination that they need to finish in the Europa spot in the Premier League table. Is quite an interesting one. Also for Liverpool, who couldn't hold on to their lead against Brighton and Hove Albion, where we saw the likes of Welbeck scoring the brace to secure the maximum point for Brighton and Hove Albion against Liverpool. And as things stands right now, Liverpool maintain the position that they were before this weekend, and we also know that it was an emphatic victory for Brighton and Hove Albion, also high in the European football for next season. So many twists and turns in the Premier League over the weekend, but you know that Arsenal Football Club and Manchester City didn't participate in the Premier League games, as they were scheduled to play in the finals of the Carabao Cup that took place in Wembley. An interesting competition, as we'll be getting back to that one. But quickly, let's switch our attention to the Spanish La Liga, where we saw Barcelona cementing their spot at the top of the Spanish La Liga, being able to get a crucial win over the weekend in a match that ended 1 goal in their favor. It was an interesting one to see them secure that win after being able to defeat Newcastle in an emphatic victory 7-2 in the return leg of the UEFA Champions League. As we know that Barcelona in the UEFA Champions League will be made to face Atletico Madrid in the quarterfinals of that particular competition. Will they be able to defeat Atletico Madrid? You know, Atletico Madrid were able to defeat them to go through to the Copa del Rey final that they will be playing against Real Sociedad. Would this be a return leg and a chance for Barcelona to take revenge on Atletico Madrid in the Champions League? But in focus right now in the La Liga, they maintain the third position in the Spanish La Liga and on the verge of winning the Spanish La Liga ahead of the two Madrid side in the Spanish La Liga. But quickly, let's go on a very short break, and when we're right back, we continue right from where we stop. Welcome back, and still talking football. Continuing from the Spanish La Liga, we witnessed the Madrid debut between Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid in a match that ended in favor of Real Madrid being able to defeat Atletico Madrid 3-2 in the Spanish La Liga. It seems as Real Madrid won't be giving up without a fight and are ready to chase down Barcelona to the latter end of the Spanish La Liga season. With injuries being suffered by Real Madrid, they were able to secure the win, as though we saw Valverde being shown the red card in a match against Atletico Madrid. But before then, he was able to score a crucial goal for them, giving them the lead before we saw Vinicius Jr. scoring the last goal of that particular game to make sure that Real Madrid were able to get the maximum points. Atletico Madrid, Ademola Lookman also opened the scoring in the Madrid debut, and this also means that Valverde has been able to score 16 goals in all competition this season. One of the best seasons for Valverde in all competition. An interesting one, switching our attention to the Italian Serie A. Inter Milan couldn't get a win over the weekend, but Como continues to impress in the Serie A as they were able to get a 5-goal win over the weekend. That was a 5-star performance from the Cesc Fabregas side, who looks to be dominating in the Italian Serie A, and if they continue this way, they will definitely be grazing the UEFA Champions League that will be taking place next season. Como doing incredibly well. AC Milan were able to get a win over the weekend. Napoli also struggled to get a win over the weekend. These wins seems to be vital for the likes of Napoli and AC Milan, who are looking to chase down Inter Milan in the Italian Serie A table right now. As 10 stands in the Bundesliga, we saw Harry Kane and his team getting another win, and they are on the verge of winning the Bundesliga back-to-back. But the highlight of the weekend, talking about EFL final between Arsenal Football Club and Manchester City, an incredible one between these two, the master and the apprentice. Arteta was defeated by his master, where Pep Guardiola's side showed the masterclass in the second half to get the win, and we saw O'Reilly scoring the brace to make sure that Manchester City would be going this season with at least a trophy. You remember that last season Manchester City went the whole season without a trophy, and this means that they have been able to win the trophy that Arsenal were hoping that they will be able to win, to make it 4 trophies this season. And as you know, as things stands right now, Arsenal are occupying the first position in the Premier League. They are in the FA Cup, and they are also in the Champions League, where they will be facing Sporting in the Champions League. Will they be able to win the remaining 3 trophies that is in their hands right now, as they have been able to lose out of the Carabao Cup? And talking about history in the Carabao Cup, Pep Guardiola was able to win his 40th trophy in his managerial career. You can take nothing away from Pep Guardiola, one of the greatest managers in the world of football, and particularly in the Premier League. As things stands right now, he has been able to win the Carabao Cup for the 5th time, becoming the highest manager to win the trophy for the 5th time in history of the competition. An interesting one for Pep Guardiola. Will they be able to build on this momentum and chase down Arsenal in the Premier League? You know that Arsenal and Manchester City are yet to face each other in the return leg in the Premier League. Will they be able to get the maximum points and build on this momentum to chase down Arsenal Football Club, who has recently been the second best in the Premier League? Would this be the Arsenal season for them to lift the Premier League, if although they were able to win the FA Cup and the UEFA Champions League? But as things stand right now, Arsenal Football Club stand a better chance of winning the Premier League if only Manchester City didn't pick form or build on the momentum that they have right now in the world of football. And this is the length at which we'll be going on this week's episode of Sport Vibe on TNT Work. For more news and sports stories, follow us across our various social media handles at Sport Vibe on TNT Work. Enjoy your week. Remain a law-abiding citizen. Thank you.